Suffering is probably one of the most perplexing of all human realities. We wonder why the bad are not punished for their badness and why the good are not rewarded for their goodness. And sometimes it even seems that the good suffer more than the bad do. We have here in the story about Job, it's like a parable of Jesus. It's not factual, but it gives us a lot to think about. We need to apply it in our own lives. And we see that in the beginning of the reading that Satan recognizes how good Job is. There's not a flaw in him. And then he goes to God and says, but you've blessed him with everything possible and in every way. And Satan challenges God and says, if you take these things away from him, he'll blaspheme you and turn against you. God doesn't believe that. And then he allows Satan to cause all these sufferings for Job. Job struggles with it. We already know the end of the story, that in the end, he does not get a satisfying answer to the suffering. But he does conclude that there's a loving God. He's a mere human, and it is right and good that he trusts in this loving God no matter what the circumstances of life. And it's a lesson for us. It's a lesson for us too, that we wonder the same thing. Why is there suffering? We only need to look at Jesus Christ on the cross. And if God allowed his own son to go through that incredible suffering in order to save us mere humans, how much does he love us? Somehow in God's mysterious plan, suffering is a part of our lives. We don't understand it, but we accept it. And the Jewish people who heard this story of Job, there was no part in their religion for an understanding of an afterlife. We have the good news of Jesus Christ, who came to promise us there will come a time when all suffering will be ended for us. There will come a time when we will be happy forever in heaven. And so it gives us much more encouragement to endure the sufferings of this life. When I've experienced people who are suffering greatly, physically especially, and even are near death, so many times I see it, what's happening to them is they're given the opportunity to let go of everything. It's really what we do if we're suffering to the point of death. The suffering allows us to just let go of everything else. Nothing seems to matter except God. And that's when God can embrace us and we can embrace God at that time. And so somehow in God's mysterious wisdom and goodness, suffering's a part of our life as it was for Job. But at the same time, we have to trust, not in blind faith, but in faith with the knowledge of Jesus Christ, that he is with us. He walks with us when we're suffering and stays with us always, ultimately leading us to the everlasting life of heaven. Let us stand and offer our prayers and petitions.